We're going to go ahead and make a chase game at this point. So let's make a more interesting setup. Choose a backdrop, anyone that you like. Let's go with the concert and the different sprites you'll have chasing each other. So we could have a chick chasing an apple, for example. So if the apple is going to be moving around randomly, let's start with that code. When we press the green button, so that is an event, when the green flag is clicked, we want to start moving. We want it to move in a random direction. Glide for 1 second to a random position. So if I test it out, it glided for 1 second to a random position. There it goes. Now we want it to do that for a long time. So let's put this forever bracket in here so that it repeats itself every 1 second whenever we let it go. Now that is what our chick is going to be chasing. Great. Well, now to program the chick, we need to have some control, some events, like when the up arrow is pressed, something is going to happen. When the right arrow is pressed, something else is going to happen. For example, it will move. The right arrow will change X. The up arrow will change Y. Oh. Change Y. Then when the down arrow is clicked, we want it to go down 10 in the Y. And when the left arrow is clicked, we want it to go to the left 10. So let's try this out. Hitting the right arrow, hitting the up arrow, left arrow. Great. Now we should have something happen whenever the chick catches the apple. Well, that would be under sensing. So when the chick is touching the apple, what's going to happen? Well, under events, we have these brackets that have the same shape as the sensing thing here. That means they'll fit together. So we can put that in a bracket. Now the thing you'll actually need instead of this bracket, if then bracket, is you'll need a wait until. And if we try this right now, this will not work. If I stop it and restart it, it will not work because there's nothing above that piece of code. There needs to be some sort of signal for the machine to run this code. So in this case, I want it to start when the green flag is clicked. So let's click the green flag. We'll see what happens when it touches. Yum! It says yum for 2 seconds, but now it doesn't work anymore. What's going on here? Well, this code has been run. It went to the bottom. It didn't have any repeat. It's just done being used. So if I want this to go on and on and on, I'm going to need this forever bracket. What's going to happen if I put this in the forever bracket is that it'll wait until you're touching the apple, and then it'll send the signal, and then it'll go back up to the top and wait again. So let's try it after we stop it and restart the simulation here. If I can catch my apple. Yum! Now the second time it hits the apple, it says it again because it's inside of that forever bracket. Now what we saw in the previous one is we can have different things happen once these touch. So when the chick is touching the apple, we can have it say yum. We could also have the apple disappear. So we could have it broadcast Apple disappear. So now it's going to say to everything, Apple disappear. Well, there's no code that uses Apple disappear yet. Let's go over to Apple. And let's, when I receive Apple disappear, what do we want it to do? Under looks, we could tell it to hide. So let's restart this code now. What's happening? I can't get my Apple back. Well, the last thing we did is to tell it to hide. We're going to need a reset button. So if I grab a green button, again, if I put it in this corner, what we'll do is have an event when this sprite is clicked. We are going to broadcast reset. That's going to tell everything to reset. Well, now we have to go and tell everyone and everything what to do whenever you hear reset. In this case, when I receive reset, I am going to show. And for the chick, when I receive reset, we are going to have it go back to this corner. So under motion, this block automatically tracks wherever you place it. You can see if I place it here, the numbers inside of here automatically say negative 184, 120. That's where the chick is right now, negative 84, 120. Want it to go to here? The block says that. So when I click reset, we're going to have an apple waiting for the green flag. We have a chick in this corner. When I hit the go button, off they go. My chick is chasing the apple. The apple disappeared. Why did it take 2 seconds for the apple to disappear? Well, it's because the apple disappear is broadcast after this 2-second interval. I want to change that. Let's take this out, make the apple disappear and yum happen at the same time. So let's hit the reset button, reload the code. That time it caught it. Yum. If there's one more thing I can show you in this little tutorial, maybe we want multiple apples. Well, we can use this cloning function, create a clone of myself. So when I receive apple disappear, let's just try out create a clone of myself and see what happens. We're going to stop, hit reset, and start. So if I catch this, that first apple is about to disappear. The problem was I had created a clone of myself, turn on right after I had hide. I had to think about it for a second. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a clone of apple after it hears apple disappear. And let's see what happens now. A lot of what happens with coding is playing around and seeing what happens. So now this apple is disappearing as I eat it, and it's waiting for the green flag to be clicked. Each of the clones is waiting. You should add some code saying when I start as a clone, maybe that clone is going to do something. Maybe the clone will go faster. So we are going to have it glide a little bit faster. It's only going to take half a second to get to a random position. Let's see what happens now after I hit reset. So the first apple is moving. If I can catch it, let's see what happens. Now that clone was moving really fast, but you'll see it only moved one time. I didn't include the forever loop that I had up here, because up here it's gliding around forever. Let's add that forever loop to the clones. Now let's see what happens. Will the second one also become a clone? There's the clone moving twice as fast. Interesting. What I like doing is playing around and seeing what I can do. This cloning thing is very useful in future projects. Try it for yourself. One funny thing I want to show you before we go is, because I've been creating clones and eating them, when I hit the reset button, there's a big glitch now. All of those clones begin moving. When I start as a clone, they start with this code right here. We need to find a way to include the delete this clone code at some point here. There we go. So whenever I hit the reset button, I'm also deleting all those clones. Coding is a really fun way to play around and try something new. Sometimes you'll discover something that you don't expect right out of the gate. Well, have some fun. I can't wait to see what you come up with.